Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2017. Got a little light snow going. Had a dust and a snow this morning when I came home. So I cleaned off the panels this morning. And then after I got up from sleeping, I came out and there was another dusting on everything and I cleaned them off again. So I still ended up bringing in 0.7 today of power, even with it being, and you can see it's way overcast with everything. It's just that time of year. I mean, it's we're in the 20s, and you know, it's got, like I said, it's not any heavy snow yet, so not a big deal there. But there's Miss Soxy. What do you think, Sox? She's gonna do her own thing. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something else here too, something that I was thinking about, going along the lines of, you know, with yesterday's video, and but this is a little bit different, and this is something that I think goes along with what I was talking about with yesterday's video. Okay, and again, I'm going to use a couple examples from my own life, and it's talking about forgiveness and letting things go. And, you know, when you harbor and fester hate towards someone or some group of people or whoever, you know, whoever your target of the hatred is, realistically, the only one that gets hurt in that situation is yourself. You know, and I'm going to give you a couple examples. When I was in high school, my sister had this boyfriend, and I liked him. Me and him got along really good, and he was a cool dude and everything like that. And my sister ended up pregnant, and I had no problem with him getting my sister pregnant. I didn't expect him to marry my sister. I did expect him to stand up and do the right thing, but he had a mother that said, "Say it's not yours," you know, and all this type of thing. So that's what he did. And as a kid, you're going to listen to your mom, and I totally get that. But at the same time, if you are man enough to, you know, do the deed, then you need to stand up for your responsibilities. Well, so he went around saying that it wasn't his kid, and at that point, my sister had only been with him, and that was her first love. So it was a very difficult time, and so I was a little bit pissed off. I'm a very overprotective person to begin with, especially of my women, my mom, my sister, my grandmother, you know, now my daughter. I'm definitely very overprotective, and but that's not a bad thing. So anyway, what happened was I ended up going after this guy because I was angry and I saw the hurt in my sister, and then he started dating some other girl, and here's my sister walking around with a belly, you know, out to here. And you know, he's got this brand new girlfriend, so it was a very difficult time. And anyway, so what happened was, I think I ended up getting arrested maybe 3 or 4 times. It was a lot because I wouldn't let it go. But anyway, I festered that hatred for him for a very long time, and probably 5 years after high school, him and I got together and we sat down, and you've had time to mature, and you know, you realize that you've made mistakes. And anyway, so they ended up going to court over the whole paternity thing, and it was 99.9% that he was the father. So I mean, he was definitely the father, so it wasn't like I was barking up the wrong tree or anything like that. But so anyway, what happened was him and I sat down, and I said, you know, I had hatred for him, and I had hatred for one other person besides him. And I had to let that go for myself, for my own well-being, for my own peace of mind. I had to let that hatred go. So I sat down with him, and I had called him, and I said, I want to get together and talk with you. And he was like, okay. So we sat down and we talked, and I told him, I said, listen, I understand the situation now, you know, with a few years of maturity, and I know why you did what you did. And he explained, too, like his mother was a huge influence on him at that point. And so, you know, I forgave him, and, you know, we let that go. And actually now we're very good friends. He's probably going to end up watching this video because I know he watches my video. He's down in Texas now. So Ray, I'm not trying to bash you. I'm just, I'm trying to explain that when you harbor that hatred and anger and resentment towards somebody, realistically, the only person that really truly hurts is yourself, and that's not a good thing. And you have to let those things go. And there was one other person, and I'm really not going to get into that story because that's a whole other in-depth thing. But that person, I had to let it go too, and I did. And that one was a way bigger situation than the situation with Ray. It involved the stepfather. But anyway, in both situations, those were the two people that had consumed me with hatred, and I let it go. And I can honestly say from that day forward, I have never hated anybody ever again. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people that I don't care for. There's people that I don't really like. And if that's the case, I generally tend to not have anything to do with those type of people because I don't want to waste my time or my energy on them. Because when you have somebody like that, you're wasting your time and your energy, and you can use that energy and for much more positive things, and that's what I think is more important. So being able to let go and have forgiveness in your heart, I think is a really, really important thing, because it hurts you if you don't. It really, truly does. And it's funny because it's like with Ray, I'm actually proud to say that he is a friend of mine, now. And, and I genuinely care what happens in his life, and I think he does with me as well. And, that's a good thing, you know what I mean? And we had a really good relationship before the situation happened. And, and then we had some, animosities there, and it was a bad time. And but like I said, maturity is a huge thing too, and it really makes you look at things differently. As a young man, you're much more hot-headed, and you don't think rationally. You react, or you act, I should say. Instead, you don't think before you do stupid things. And I think with maturity, you sit back and you kind of look at things better. And it's like even now, I mean, now that I'm in my 50s, and I look at some things and, oh, look who's coming out. What's going on there, buddy? What you doing? What you doing? You good boy. I know, you're a trip. But anyway, so having those things happen in your life, things are going to happen to all of us, okay? And there's going to be people that we're going to be angry with or upset with for whatever reasons. But a lot of times, and I had an uncle he's passed away now, but he really talked me through a lot of things. And he explained to me, he said, listen, he goes, and now I'm not talking about Ray, I'm talking about the other situation. He goes, he probably doesn't think about you at all, and you think about him every day. And I went, yep, I sure do, every single day. And it was somebody that I had truly wanted to kill for what they had done. And, I actually took a trip. He was in Florida. This was a stepfather. And I had started taking a trip down one time. I was in my early 20s. And this was before I really sat down and did all this, soul searching and do the forgiveness thing. But I was taking a ride down, and I was going to take him out. And I actually got all the way to North Carolina. And I had stopped in Pennsylvania, and another buddy of mine, I had picked him up, and I told him what I was going to do, and he said, I'll go with you. And I know now he had gone to stop me from doing it, but I think that if I had followed through, he would have been there with me, which would have probably been a bad thing, because then there would have been a witness, but that's another whole thing. But I got to North Carolina, and I thought to myself at that point, I said, you know what, I could do this, and I could get away with it, because he hadn't seen me since I was 9 years old, and there'd be no connection whatsoever. So they would have no way why some dude in New York would come down to Florida and take this dude out. There was no connection whatsoever. But I said to myself, I will have to live with this if I do this, and I'll have to live with it for the rest of my life. And was he worth that? And he wasn't. And so I came back home, and that's when I really had some really deep discussions with my uncle at that point. And he was a psychologist, and he lived in California, and a very, very smart man. And he really helped me process through a lot of things. And it was amazing how the universe works, because probably 6 or 7 weeks later, I had the opportunity to go down to Florida. And this time I didn't go armed. This time I went down with the sole purpose of letting it go. And I did, and I went down, and I saw this person, and I talked with him, and he had no idea who I was, because he wouldn't have. I was a grown man at that point. I wasn't a little boy anymore. And so, you know, I saw the fear in his heart, or in his eyes. I saw that fear. He was scared. He didn't know what I was going to do. And, you know, I forgave him, and of course he denied, and I was like, listen, you know, you can deny all you want. I was there, I know. And but I let it go. And when I left that day, it felt like a mountain was lifted off my shoulders, and I never thought about him again. And it was amazing. It's an amazing feeling, that forgiveness and letting it go. Now, there's several different ways you can do it. Okay, you can write a letter. You can go do it with a phone call, or you can do it face to face. And let's say somebody's gone. So let's say that they've passed and you never got that opportunity. You can still do it. You can still write that letter, and you know, and let that go. You know, because it's only going to hurt you. Hate is only going to hurt the person who hates. It really, truly is, because realistically, that other person probably does not think about you at all. And I'm going to tell you what, it makes the world such a much better place without having that in your heart. And you know, I don't mean to get all philosophical on you guys today, but it was just something that I was thinking about, and you know, and I wanted to share it with you. And if you have that in your heart, and you have somebody that you hate, and somebody has done you wrong, you got to let it go. To be able to move on in your life, and to have a decent life, and to process things, you got to let those type of things go. And hold on, I have to go do my job here real quick. It's a doorman, because Soxy's been out for 3 minutes, and she's ready to go in. Yes. So anyway, guys, I wanted to talk about this today because I think it's an important thing to do. It's an important part of the process of life, and you have to let things go, and you can't hold on to that hatred, because, like I said, it's only going to hurt you. So if there's people out there that have hurt you, or done you wrong, forgive them. Really, truly. I mean, you have to, just for yourself. Now, you don't put yourself in a situation to let them hurt you again, okay, depending on the person and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not a productive thing for yourself. And for your own well-being, you have to let things go. And so we all need to do that. And I'll tell you what, I know that for myself, there's been people that I don't care for since then, obviously. You're going to run into that. And I just, like I said, I just don't bother with those type of people. Having hatred and bitterness because of situations that happen, it doesn't make it better. It doesn't help. It really, truly doesn't. So letting things go is probably the best thing that you can do for yourself, for your own well-being. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to jump off here. I definitely want your guys' thoughts on this video and what you think. If there's somebody in your life that, you know, maybe you haven't forgiven yet, you know, maybe you need to, just for your own well-being. And like I said, and if they're past already, if they're gone, you can still write that letter to let it go. You really can. And, you know, it's just better for you. It's going to make you, it's going to make your lives better. So anyway, I definitely want your feedback. Let me know what you think. And, but it was a good day today. It was a nice day, you know, just reflecting. I've been reflecting a lot lately, and I don't even know why, but, you know, just thinking about different things. And, you know, I wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope your work week has started well. And we've got some light snow going on here right now, too. But, so that's it. Remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. So it's so, so important to, you know, tell those people how you feel. And it really, truly is. And remember, guys, it's STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. We have to process so much in our lives. And, you know, your emotional part of it is a huge, huge part of it. And that's STD as well, you know. One step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. You have to work through your issues. You have to let a lot of things go and move on with your lives, okay? I will talk to you all tomorrow, and have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.